Hello, everybody. My name is, of course, Gustavo. I am the host of the Elephant in the Room podcast. And I just wanted to quickly hop on here before I play the episode because I wanted to give you a quick intro. In this episode, I kept it nice and short. I wanted to quickly just talk about judgment and how our perceptions on situations that we've been in completely dictate how we feel towards a specific situation and how that situation in itself now creates tens, if not hundreds, of different little micro insecurities, let's call them. And that creates now what comes with judgment, right? Like why people judge someone else based on the fact that they wear baggy pants and where that might come from. Oh, because growing up, they were assaulted by somebody who wore baggy pants, and now all of a sudden they don't like baggy pants or anybody who wears baggy pants. It's just crazy. It's very crazy how our insecurities kind of develop. And anyway, I'm not going to do too much talking because that's what the episode is for. But I just wanted to quickly hop on here and say if you've made it to this episode, I thank you beyond more than you can imagine. Just because of the fact that you wanted to come and listen to this already means the world to me. Please, everybody who listens, let me know. Some of you have me on Instagram. I'm going to also post up my the email address for this podcast in which every single one of you at any given time, if you want to please share any feedback on anything at all, even if it sounds like something it's like something stupid, doesn't matter. I want to hear it all. And if you want to share your story and if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, please also inquire. I'm not somebody who picks specifically people because of whatever X, Y, and Z they've done or like whatever. I'm really open to having anybody, any single person in the podcast that believes they have a lot to share with the world and any specific topic based on your experiences. I would love to have you on and let's just talk about it. Like this is what the podcast is for. It's just for all of us to kind of come together and relate on things and try to figure out where in life we're headed, I guess, if you will. And just enjoy the process of that comes with it because realizing all these things really is part of the process, and as much as it's very scary and a lot of external judgment sometimes comes with it. Ironically enough, that we're talking about this, it's 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 actually the most beautiful part, right? Because that's how we make progress. That's how we get better, and throughout that whole journey, we start to realize that the beauty was always in the process, not in the end result. And yeah, so without further ado, please enjoy this episode, and I will see you guys very soon.
To think that our psychology can reach these levels of altering our perception because our memory is faulty, right? Like we can all remember situations, but how do we know for a fact that what we're remembering is even exactly what happened? Like we have to trust that our memory is doing such a good job that our perception of a situation happened exactly the way it did. But how do we even guarantee that? So now it begs the question where it's funny how we all go now and talk to a person that wronged us or a person that maybe we wronged. And when you talk about the situation, you both kind of get to a point eventually where you realize how little it actually meant and how you could have dealt with the situation probably sooner than you have. Because a lot of people just stop talking to each other because of this one thing that happened. And sorry, the whole conversation has kind of developed into different areas, but it's all relevant in the end. And it's fascinating how I've noticed how people tend to just like give everything up, all the emotions, all the baggage that comes with it, when it's been long enough that the one person initiates the action, and the one thing that you hear the most is, "I wish we would have done this sooner." And so I guess it begs the question: how much of the things that we supposedly experienced even actually happen, or how many of them are just perceptions that we somehow evolved over time as we grew and our brains developed. Somehow it starts altering the memory in a certain way where it specifically weighs more on certain emotions than others. It's very interesting to just think about the fact that a lot of the time we remember something and then it's crazy. We'll like watch a video of like what happened and it wasn't whatsoever how we perceived it. Oh my god. I think there's been like 3 occasions for me where I thought something happened a certain way and then I saw a video of how it actually happened and I was blown away at how different what happened was than what I thought had happened. I'm sure a lot of you listening are in the same, like, there's probably memories triggering left and right. But it's just insane to think that our mind literally is almost like, it's like purposely playing games with us, almost. It's like our mind's main goal is to decide for us the kind of perception that we want to have towards the world and the kind of things we want to attract for ourselves. That's what happens, right? You have a bad experience, it creates an insecurity, which means you now have judgment, ego, and all the bad traits that come with it. And what happens is you're just walking around and certain things remove your happiness, and it's literally all these insecurities. It just removes your happiness. It's like your mind is just telling you where you're allowed to be happy and where you're not. It's like we don't even have a choice. But it's funny, just by realizing that you don't have a choice, you somehow now start taking back a bit of that control. And it naturally allows you to start now just developing the courage, really, is the main way to put it, because from here on, you just start feeling a little bit more okay in knowing that you're not fully okay. And it gets to a point where you just allow yourself to just open up for real, but it takes the step of just recognizing that you're just not okay. If you can recognize you're not okay, that's already the biggest fucking step you have to take. And we're out here judging each other based on single impressions. Some people watch my Instagram stories and I'm sure they think certain things. It's hilarious. It's funny, I spend time contemplating sometimes if I'm gonna post something or not. And then I think about it more and more and more of the time, and I'm just like, who exactly am I trying to please? Because if someone is going to judge me based on a single story post, I don't want them following me anyway. You know? It's crazy. And that's when I realized the art of not giving a fuck. um, wow. I'm realizing now that this might be the first episode for the Elephant in the Room podcast. Hmm. Well, I guess we'll find out. If you're listening, thank you. See you soon.